everyone, welcome back to Trees and Turtles. My name's Imogen, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing how I made nearly £1,000 in a year from my side hustle. Before we start the video, make sure that you like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and yeah, that's about it. Let's get started. Okay, so I have always been interested in financial responsibility and financial independence, and recently, well, I say recently, in the last year I've really gone all in on a side hustle because developing like multiple income streams is really important to me. And I've actually made almost £1,000 from it. So I'm going to be sharing how I did that, and the first thing to think about is that it's important to try a lot of different side hustles. So what works for one person might not work for another. So for example, you could try like selling digital products, or you can try something more in person like dog walking. For me, what my side hustle is I complete like surveys on survey sites. So for example, some examples of ones I've done recently have been like, there was one about my screen time, there was one about my mental health, there have been several about like my experience at university, and I answer questions, I get paid. It's that simple. So once I tried a bunch of different side hustles. I tried blogging, which I do still want to get my blog off the ground, but it hasn't made me any money yet. My YouTube, eventually, I'm hoping will become an income stream, but for now it's just fun. But this one is the one that makes me the money. I think the important thing to know about making money with surveys is that a lot of people say don't do surveys as a side hustle because they're trash, and to some extent that's true. I would say, like, I've tried many different survey sites and I've been paid money by 2 of them. So most of them are trash, and most of them don't give you a good hourly rate, and most of them are just you do a lot of work and don't get paid very much or anything for it. So the important thing is to find the ones that are actually going to pay you, and the one that's paid me the most is Prolific, and I'll put a link in the description. The second one is panel based, but I haven't made nearly as much from them. I've made like under £100 this year. But those 2, and I'll put links in the description, have actually been worthwhile and pay a decent hourly rate, and I think Prolific has like a lower limit that researchers basically have to pay participants. And it's basically a site where it's mostly for academic researchers, so you get to participate in a lot of scientific research, and it'll be sort of, you get asked questions about your health or like your views on social issues, and that helps researchers write their papers and it helps you get paid, so that's great. My next tip would be to stay consistent. So I've been on Prolific for like probably 3 years now, and in the first 2 years I wasn't consistent at all. Like, I didn't go on there every day, I picked it up when I felt like it, and obviously I didn't make a lot of money because I wasn't putting a lot of effort in. But this year I've been pretty consistent, and I've been on the site like every day. What I basically do is I just keep it open in a browser tab, and then there'll be a little notification when there's a new study, and I just go over there and I do it. So that's how I do it, and that's how I've managed to stay consistent this year. And I just tend to do it in like gaps between my work, or I'll do some at lunchtime, or I'll do some in the evening, like when I'm watching a show. So it's very flexible, and you can do it like anytime you want. Sometimes there'll be longer studies, sometimes they'll be higher paid, sometimes they'll be really quick and easy. If I've got like a 10-minute break, I'll just pick up a little study on the side. Sometimes there won't be any studies at all. Like, it's very variable. You shouldn't rely on this as a consistent source of income, hence why it's a side hustle. And I've found that as I've been more consistent, like higher paying studies have started to come through, and like studies that have been like more fun, and yeah, just in general, as I've been more consistent, I've been paid more, and that's probably because the site has recognised me as someone who just churns out surveys consistently, and also gets the responses approved consistently, because that's something you also have to do. If you just click through and then give trash answers, they're going to reject your submission, and that will affect your account. So always make sure that you give like considered answers and actually provide some value. That's the whole point. You've got to provide some value. So yeah, stay consistent, provide value. Yeah, like I said, I found sort of small amounts of time to do it in between other tasks, and that's why I was like, it doesn't feel like work, if that makes sense. You're just taking a break, you're answering some questions, boom, move on. Next day, £5 in your account, nice. Okay, so I can talk forever, but I think the most important thing at this point is I will show you actually evidence of my earnings. So I'm going to show you how the Prolific site works and what kinds of studies I've been doing recently. Right, so this is what the homepage of Prolific looks like. Over here on the left we've got some this is where studies will appear. At the moment there are no studies, but that's okay because I've done some earlier. About you, this is the section where you just fill in your demographic information so they can tailor studies to you more specifically, and that means you won't really be screened out very often. Over here you've got the balance. I just cashed out, so there's not actually very much money in here. The minimum cash out balance is £5, I think. Messages, if a researcher needs to contact you about your submission or notifications for an ongoing study, you'll find that here. This is where your account is, but the interesting thing I want to show you is my submissions. So if you click on this tab, then that'll show you, so I've made nearly 600 total submissions. That's how many surveys I've taken part in. That's how many surveys have been approved, so that's how many I've been paid for. There might be a number of reasons why you don't get paid for one. You might return it, so you might realise you've made a mistake, and then you return it so somebody else can do that because you're fucked up, basically. Or you might have it rejected for some reason, like maybe you're the wrong demographic, or you missed an attention check. And over here, the interesting bit, that's how much I've earned. So that's £988.30. And I've still got a little bit up in my balance, but that's how much has been screened through and cashed out, basically. Or is available for cash out. And some of that, obviously, that was done before this year, and that's why I said it's nearly 1k rather than 1k, but yeah, most of that, the vast majority of that was this year. So let's have a look at what I've actually been doing. So this was a screen time study, this was a political questions study, again, politics, this was about brand names, this was about mental health, customer experience, I talked about my eating behaviours, this was about judging other people's behaviours, this was part 1 of that mental health study, this was about the service industry, I think. This was, again, a screen time study. This is ongoing. I've been taking part in it for a while. Over here you've got when you completed it, and the completion code, which is the thing that you input to prove that you've completed it. Usually this will load automatically. That's how much I got paid for that study, and that's the status of the study. It was approved. So, yeah, basically, you can, this goes back a long way. You can download the full submission history, but basically that's how it works. That's my main site. I'm not going to bother showing you Panelbase because you can just go and look for yourself, but I've not really earned a lot on there. It's mostly I think I've earned under £100. Yeah, I can't remember how much I earned. But anyway, this is my main site, and this is where I've made most of my money. The last thing I want to talk to you about is budgeting what you earn. So having a side hustle is great, but you need to have a purpose for it. So it could be you just want some spending money, or it could be you're saving towards a particular goal. So for me, my side hustle, basically I have a job obviously, and all of that money, most of that money is going into my savings, but obviously I still want to have some fun. So I decided that my side hustle was going to pay for my groceries, so that was a useful thing in my life, and it was also going to pay for me to have fun. So things I've bought with my side hustle money include skincare, clothes, flowers, bubble tea outings. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know I have a massive bubble tea addiction. So that kind of thing, and I basically have I have 2 bank accounts, well I have more than 2, but I have 2 main bank accounts, and I have my submissions paid into, basically it's paid into my PayPal, and from there it goes to one of my bank accounts, and I use that bank account for my groceries and my fun money, and then other serious stuff comes out of the other account. So it's quite a nice way to compartmentalise my earnings, if that makes sense. Also, for tax purposes, if you earn more than £1,000 in a year in the UK, you have to declare it to the government, I believe, but obviously I haven't, so that doesn't matter. That you don't have to pay tax on it until you get to over £12,000, but you just have to declare it. It's basically a formality, but I don't even have to do that because I haven't made 1k yet. If I do though, obviously I'll declare it. So I think I've covered everything. That's the mechanics of how my side hustle works. It's 100% worth it. I genuinely don't feel like I'm working much or all of the time. For me, it's just I answer some questions, I have some fun, I get paid. It's not a big deal, and it just gives me some peace of mind to know that I can spend on fun things, and it's just paid for because I do a little bit of work on the side. So this is a very worthwhile endeavour for me. I highly recommend you get involved. I think there might be, depending on your demographics, Prolific is looking for different participants. I signed up a while ago, but I've heard there are some waiting lists. Anyway, I'm not sure. But if you want to sign up, I'm going to put the link in the description. And yeah, give it a go, let me know how you get on in the comments. That's all for this video. If you have any questions, again, drop them in the comments. Make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe, obviously, get your notifications on, follow me on Instagram. I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye!